Mary here again with you at the IMTS 2022 Creators Lounge. We're telling stories, we're connecting, we're innovating, we're sharing our inspiration. I call that the joy transaction. And we are in for another fantastic segment with Mitch, CEO of ZYCI, is going to be speaking with Paul Van Metre, co-founder and CEO of Proshop. Let's go to them now.
Hello, IMTS 22. This is Mitch here at the Creators Lounge. Hashtag we are all creators. I am excited to be here with Paul Van Metre from Proshop. Paul,
hey,
welcome.
Thank you, Mitch.
Thanks for joining me. I am a huge fan. So to get to sit down and chat, I don't think 30 minutes is going to do us justice, but we're gonna try.
Do our best.
And as you know, this is unscripted. We're just gonna talk.
Just talk shop, right?
Yeah. So I mean, Proshop.
Yes,
you guys
sir.
have just taken the world by storm in the ERP. You're everywhere. And you've got evangelists out there raving for you guys. It's a great story, but let's back up.
Sure.
Tell me about your background and then what was the evolution of Proshop?
Yeah, great question. So my Proshop was conceived as a way to solve my own shop's problems.
Okay, so you had a shop.
I owned a machine shop.
Okay.
My partners and I started it right out of college.
Okay.
We were college buddies. We went through a manufacturing engineering type program.
Okay.
We actually designed and built Formula SAE cars.
Okay.
And we had CNC machines in the shop in college.
Okay.
And we fell in love with machining.
Yeah.
And we decided that we wanted to start a machine shop right out of school.
And were you pretty naive?
We were so naive, so young, so dumb. We were 22, 23 when we started our shop. One of our older brother, one of my partners was also a partner, took out a second mortgage on his house.
Okay.
That bought a Haas VF4.
I hope that worked out for him.
It did work out well. We'll get to that part later.
Yeah.
But yeah, Haas VF4, used manual mill and lathe, and enough rent for a few months in a little 2,000 square foot warehouse.
Well, but this is a typical story, right?
Oh, so many shops start this.
Yeah.
Super humble beginnings.
Right.
We started knocking on doors. People would hardly take us seriously because we were baby faced.
Yeah, yeah.
But we found enough work to hire some employees. We started to grow, add more machines. And when we got to a level, about 3 years in, we had about a dozen employees.
Mm-hmm.
And things started to get a little hectic to manage everything.
Yeah, sure.
The jobs, the schedule, the cutting tools, the gauges, all those things just got a little much for Excel, which is what we were kind of using.
Sure.
So we went out on the market and we started looking for shop management software. Mm-hmm. And, not to disparage anyone else, but we just didn't like anything that we saw.
Right.
We just didn't seem like it was that well suited for a job shop business.
Yeah, yeah. Now, full disclosure, I am a Proshop customer at ZYCI.
Thank you, sir.
And we run the software. So full disclosure there. So I happen, as I ask questions, I do know a lot about it.
Yes.
But let me ask this. So did you have certifications at that time when you built the software?
Not at that time. So we started our shop in 97.
Okay.
We realized we needed some software in around 2000 and couldn't find anything we liked. So we hired a full-time software developer to build us something. Okay. We honestly had no intentions of ever selling it to anyone else. Yeah. It was just to solve our own problems. Right. So by the late 2000, early 2001, we had enough basic modules to start actually using it on the shop floor. Okay. But we did not hold ISO certification back then. Okay. So
one of the things I know from having built a lot of software by businesses in the past, .com and stuff, is it's a never-ending process, right? Well, I remember when I developed the first software, I thought to myself, I'm going to develop it and I'm going to hire this developer contractor for 90 days. My God, was that naive? Right. And so I have shops sometimes that'll say, I'm thinking about creating my own system.
Oh, yeah. We hear that too. Yeah. And we were pretty much that naive. We figured it would take them maybe a year to build something. Yeah. And then we'd be done development and then we'd use it for the rest of our shop's future. Yeah. And, it just never worked out. We just kept wanting more features, more modules, more pages, more buttons. Yeah. And he just kept building it. Yeah. And so we did that for about 8 years. And during that time, we got ISO certified in 2004. We built all the modules to run our ISO system. We got AS9100 certified in 2006. Mm-hmm. We built all the features for compliance to AS9100. Yeah, sure. And then in 2008, we had our largest machine shop customer see Proshop. They came, visiting the shop, and they said, "This is way better than what we're using. Would you sell it to us?" And we were like, "No, we're just a machine shop.
Yeah.
We don't want to get in the software business." They said, "Well, if you ever change your mind, let us know." We thought about it. We approached them, worked out a deal. So in 2008, they became our first software customer, as well as still being our biggest machine shop customer.
And that's probably a lot of work because you probably didn't design it to be transported and multi-tenant, multi-instance.
We never planned on having anyone else use it. So yes, it was a bit of work. It was good work, obviously, at this point to have done. And within 3 or 4 months, it revolutionized their whole shop.
Yeah.
Their on-time delivery skyrocketed. They freed up 3 overhead staff, like expediters, that they just didn't need doing their job.
Sure.
So completely streamlined the shop. And they started then asking us, well, can we introduce you to some of our other vendors, which were our own competitors?
Mm-hmm.
And we said, all right, let's give it a shot. So we sold it 3 more times. So, and that also went exceedingly well. And we made the decision at that point to sell our shop and go full-time into software.
Wow. That's fantastic.
So when we sold the company in 2014, we had about 75 people. We had about a little over 30 spindles, running 3 shifts. Not only we were
That's a significant size business in the machining world.
It was a good size shop.
Yeah.
And not only were we just a machine shop, we were also AS certified for engineering work.
Okay.
So we actually designed and built complex jigs and fixtures for people like Northrop Grumman.
Yeah.
It was a serious shop.
Absolutely. So I know, I kind of lived the same pain with ZYCI. I started in 2014.
Yeah.
And we're using spreadsheets, we're using Smartsheet, we're using a myriad of tools.
Sure.
We got AS 9100 certified, but before Proshop.
Yeah.
And then we're trying to keep up with everything that we have to do. Calibrations and nonconformances and training manuals and trainings.
Yeah.
And I started looking around at ERP systems. I looked at everybody. And
it's good to do the due diligence.
I did the due diligence, right? And I knew it had to be cloud-based.
Sure.
I wasn't going to go old school and something that wasn't built for the cloud, right?
Yep.
If it wasn't built for the cloud, because a lot of people will say, "Oh, we can put an instance on the cloud."
Sure, that's not the same thing.
That's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Not going there. And so this day and time, I wanted to be cloud-based.
Sure.
And so I realized once I dug into the thought process that you guys had put in, and that this truly was an evolution from people that had developed it based on a need, based on living, because it was just so thoughtful to how shops do business.
Well, I appreciate you saying that because we had our shop for 17 years.
Mm-hmm.
And, like I said, at the time we sold it, we had 75 people, and all of those people and all the people we employed years prior, they helped us design the software.
Yeah.
So we had inspectors telling us what they needed. We had setup machinists telling us what they needed. We had purchasing agents telling us what they needed, receiving, engineering, contract review, customer support. Yeah. And we built tools for all those people.
Yeah. I'll tell you, one of the things that we found is the hardest thing is not the software. The hardest thing is adoption.
Yes,
getting
that can be hard.
Everybody on the shop floor to check the freaking boxes when they complete an op or when they do something.
Sure. And
receiving inspection to enter the right stuff. Because you can put the best tools out there, but you getting the people in a mindset, that was probably the biggest hurdle we had to cross.
Yeah. And I think that's doubly hard when you have a system that has still paper and some computer work that needs to happen, because you can just put chicken scratch on paper, but as we're fully paperless. So people are using it on the shop floor every day. Yes, there's boxes you need to check, but the next steps down the line rely on the people upstream to do their work properly. And we color code things green and red and yellow to show if people have done their work. But it definitely does take discipline. It takes that leadership to say, this is what we're doing. This is the way we're going to run our company from now on. Right. And the customers that have the best, simplest implementations have just full buy-in from everyone that there's no two ways about it. We are going this way.
I think that's the point that we had. There were a lot of people that just liked their paper system or their spreadsheet. And finally, we just started hitting a wall where it was not going to work. It's just not going to work. Balls were getting dropped.
Sure.
And I think, unfortunately, through some pain, it caused everybody to get on board.
Right.
But it took us a little bit of time to get
creatures of habit. They don't like to change the way they do stuff.
But once we did, man, it just we saw the benefits.
I love it.
And we're gonna move on from just evangelizing Proshop in a moment. But I will say the other thing that is our audits, our AS9100 audits, just got so damn easy. Because everything the auditor wants to see is right there at your fingertip. And, so that's worked for the AS9100.
And customer audits too.
Yeah.
They get blown away. They love that. And it helps you as a sales tool, right?
It absolutely does. Yeah. Okay. So we're here at IMTS. There's a lot of folks that are discovering this that couldn't come to the show.
Sure.
And discovery is what I want to talk about a little bit. We're here at the Creators Lounge talking about digital content. So you've come up relatively short period of time against a lot of established players and gained a lot of market share.
Very crowded space. Yeah.
Very crowded space.
Yeah.
So how do you differentiate? How are you getting the word out? How are you generating leads and traction and reputation? Talk to me about your marketing strategy.
Well, my marketing strategy is hiring Sarah because she's awesome.
Hi, Sarah.
But beyond just the amazing Sarah, we really go all in on social proof with customers evangelizing our product and being really
Sarah,
transparent.
Can we get Sarah a microphone and bring her in?
Sure, Sarah's very shy. But we really do. You may have seen in our booth, we have a client ambassador program going on for the whole show. Mm-hmm. At one point earlier today, we had 5 different customers in our booth wearing Proshop shirts, helping us sell Proshop.
That's fantastic.
We asked them if they wanted to, come join us. And they raised their hand and said, we'd love to do that.
Yeah, that's excellent. Welcome, Sarah.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us. You let's make sure the microphone's on there. Yeah.
Is it on?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
The world can hear you now.
Oh, amazing.
Well, so I see all the great marketing online you guys are doing out there. And it's amazing the traction that you guys have gotten in such a short period of time. And so I'd love to hear your thoughts a little bit about how do you take a product like this and make sure the world knows about it?
Yeah, I think it's a lot about patience, knowing that you're in it for the long game, right? With things like SEO and content that we've built up. Paul has these power hours on his calendar. Well, he'll just pump out content and then hand it over, to marketing, and then we make it nice and pretty, and then we send it out. So I think it's about being patient, and then just knowing what your strengths are and knowing when to give it to somebody else, when to hire somebody else to do stuff. Sure. Yeah.
And so are you doing a lot of traditional marketing these days, or you're pretty much just all online stuff?
Some of each. I mean, Sarah puts together this awesome graph every month of where our customers are coming from, and we call it this sort of omni-channel approach.
Okay.
We're getting customers, of course, from SEO.
Yeah.
That's our number one. Referrals are number 2.
Okay.
And then all these other channels, different, social media channels, traditional marketing channels, paid media.
Right.
It's a lot of places.
Yeah. And one of your content has a lot of domain expertise built into it.
Well, clearly with, years and years of shop experience,
right.
that is.
And I think that is so important. Right. And I think, when I see people that'll use a marketing firm or an agency that doesn't have the industrial or the technical speak, you see it so clearly.
Sure.
We know when there's a word that's out of place.
Yes, we do.
Or if somebody is posing.
Yes.
Right. And so that's where you guys have done a good job. So you're fantastic to get that content out of him and then purpose it in a way not to lose that authenticity, et cetera.
Yeah. And one other thing I wanted to mention, early on when we were first starting and trying to figure out how we were going to do our marketing, I was actually really concerned about being super transparent about how Proshop worked.
Yeah.
Because I figured our competitors would then watch videos I made and things I said and copy our features.
Yeah.
And at some point I figured, I don't need to worry about that. I'm just going to throw stuff out there. And so if you go on our website, you can literally watch hours and hours of content of us showing exactly how Proshop works, of customers talking about how they use it.
Yeah.
And we're not thinking about our competitors. And when people approach us, this is not an uncommon scenario. I'll have someone call us up on a Monday morning and they'll say, I just binge watched 12 hours of Proshop content all weekend and I'm almost ready to buy.
Wow.
And a lot of our competitors, they don't show the product.
No.
It's behind a walled garden. You got to sign up for a demo. You got to put in your email, and we just throw it out there. Because I know, and when I ran my shop, if I wanted to buy something, I wanted to be able to research it all I wanted without having to talk to someone first.
Right. Yeah. People want to buy. They don't want to be sold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
We let them make that choice. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say that's a huge thing. Nowadays, people want to be able to do their own research on their own. I don't remember the statistics, but it's something like a big percentage of people pretty much know if they're going to buy before they talk to the salesperson.
Yeah.
Right. So making that content readily available about Proshop and even about industry best practices that Paul knows a lot about that can provide somebody value without even selling them your product. Right. So,
Yeah, I remember years ago hearing people talk about like print media and the web and digital media.
Sure.
And they would say in the print media, you're reading or you come across an ad in a magazine and there's something you didn't even know you needed. And print media was really good for that. Or things like this. You walk through, you see a tool, you see something like, wow, I didn't even know I needed that. I didn't know there was that solution. But when you're in digital media or you go to the web, right, you know what you want. You just don't know where to find it or who's got it.
Right.
And so positioning yourself in those channels and leveraging the SEO to make sure that you're relevant is
so important.
Is so important, right?
And producing a lot of video content, I also think is really important. You know, Google ranks that very high. Yeah. People love to consume video.
People love that.
Pushing it through in every channel you can think of.
Yeah, and I think that's sort of the part behind, IMTS and industrial studios creating this to generate content. There are, many tens of thousands of people that wish they could be here at IMTS. They couldn't. And so, IMTS being thought leaders they are, like, how do we take companies like Proshop and give them additional value to help them get bigger exposure to the people that couldn't be here at IMTS? Yeah. And so I think that is tremendous value. So Sarah, a little bit, since you're the brains behind all the marketing here. So, and I know other companies that are looking at how do they duplicate something like that. What's your background? Like, how did you come in to be so good at this?
Oh, Paul taught me everything that I know.
Sarah has a marketing degrry, so she studied it in school.
Yeah.
Going to school is very different from actually working in marketing, in my opinion. So I think, again, trial and error, looking at the metrics and letting it tell you where to go, I think is a big thing too.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I would say it's the same. I went to machining trade school, and when I got out, I thought I was good. And then I went into a shop
and you realized everything you didn't know.
I was a pre-apprentice. Yes. It's about the level that I really was.
Sure.
So that's it. So what do you see next? Oh, but one thing I want to touch on, integrations.
Sure.
What are you guys doing there?
Yeah, so we are, over the last year and a half or so, we've been building a very in-depth API into our entire product. So it's a GraphQL API, a very modern type of API. So we now have many customers that are pulling data right out of Proshop for all sorts of uses, from machine monitoring to custom forms to pulling data into other systems they may want to for reporting purposes. And then shortly, people are going to be pushing data back into it. So we have an integration with Datanomics right now, a machine monitoring company.
I have seen their demo. I'm impressed with Datanomics.
Yeah, it's a neat platform.
Yeah.
So they're going to be pushing data back into Proshop to update scheduling and targets and part counts, which has all sorts of benefits for job costing and real-time scheduling and all that kind of stuff. So the API is just going to opening the whole world up. And there's just there's so many use cases.
Yeah.
That we're very
and that really
about.
Speaks well to your more open and transparent concept, right? About not, putting your videos out there, letting people see the functionality, let it discover. And hey, if there's somebody that has a tool out there that we don't develop, or even if they do it better than us, we'll play with them.
Yeah. I mean, we have we have an estimating module.
Yeah.
We also have an integration with paperless parts.
Yeah.
Because they do great estimating.
Yeah. I talked to Jason on Monday, and another company I'm really impressed with how far they've come in
they do awesome work. Yeah.
Such a short amount of time.
And, when it comes to stuff like that, we really want to be fairly agnostic.
Yeah.
Create partnerships with paperless, with machine research, on the monitoring side with Datanomics, with machine metrics, with Chatter, and then also provide, really solid native solutions if people just want to stay in our ecosystem as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think they're in my ear telling me we're about out of time here.
Okay.
So, Sarah Morrow, thank you for dropping in here and joining us. And
thank you, Sarah.
Many people are seeing the effort, the fruits of your labor out there on LinkedIn and Instagram and Google and everywhere. And Paul and Metre, thank you very much for joining us and for the great product and the support that you provide to me and my company.
Well, you're welcome. We care so much about this industry. It is the absolute foundation of our entire economy.
It is.
And it is so important that your shops like yours and all the shops out there just thrive to help our whole economy with jobs and just the well-being of the whole country. It's so important.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.